Before the modification, this Franko Belge Lorraine used to chew through a hell of a lot of wood, light wood, pine and cedar. I would just roar up the chimney. You could actually hear the flames roaring, and you wouldn't get this ash build up in the bottom of the pan. In fact, you know, it was very hard to keep a fire in, because you would constantly be relighting it because it would burn out very quickly. What it had at the back was this metal plate, and a gap. You used to have a gap at the bottom there over the top of this. This is your the boiler pipe, and the boiler's actually on either side of the fire as well, and there's another boiler pipe up the top there. But when you take away this this plate, let's just see if I can show you one of the first modifications I did was to cut a little notch at either end of the plate, and this would reduce the gap between the back boiler pipe, which joins the both sides, and the plate. But the plate would buckle as well, so not a very good design. And if we look at the back of the fire, you've got your chimney pipe, or the flue, and there was nothing to stop it. There was nothing to slow down the movement of air and smoke through the chimney. I installed this green stainless steel pipe. That is perforated pipe, and the idea was that the smoke and the air would actually mix and burn inside this pipe instead of going straight up the chimney, so it would slow the flames down, stop the roaring and unnecessary waste of wood. This is a perforated tube which we got from eBay. And this is just a piece of wire which we've bent. The perforated tube you'll need to clean regularly. This can be done with your normal hearth brush. So clean all the way around. This was the original plate. If anyone that's had a Franko Belge Lorraine fire will know that this thing keeps falling off, and will also know that this particular type fire burns through a tremendous amount of wood and is pretty inefficient. But with this modification, the wire fits through the little hole in the doors as such. By pulling, you can draw the gas through the fire and then push it in, and you can actually regulate the amount of smoke that goes out through directly through the chimney, and the smoke circulates through the tube, and the tube is your secondary combustion. As you can see, it's a clean burn now, and the fire is behaving completely different to when it had the old throat plate. And we'll just go and check the chimney now. The end of the tube has been peened over on both ends. This makes it less likely to stick, and the tube is obviously shorter than the width of the fire to enable you to get it past the two brackets that hold the plate. So it goes up into the corner and just sits in there nicely. The perforated stainless steel tube comes with a straight saw cut, and we need to peen this or bevel this edge over. I'll put this, I'm using an old spanner in the vise, and you just gently work your way around. To be patient, but as you can see, it's forming nicely, and we'll turn that right in, and we'll do the same with the other side. And when this is pulled in and pushed out of the fire to actually restrict the airflow, the edges won't catch. Our first bit of kindling has been put in. Normally the fire would have burnt away the kindling very quickly, but even the kindling has managed to heat the fire, and it's already getting nice and hot. So while the fire's catching, pull out the stainless steel tube that we've put in, and can open the door without causing any smoke. Again, push the tube back in. This simple modification to the Franko Belge Lorraine, using a 3-inch stainless steel perforated tube, the type of tubing that's used to repair exhaust systems, could be applicable to almost any of the older type inefficient log burners. If you haven't got the angle brackets on the sides, which were used in the Franko Belge to accommodate the throat plate, you could always add and improvise a couple of angle iron brackets bolting through the sides. Very, very simple modification, but stay tuned because there's more to follow. The next part will show how we can add secondary combustion by introducing superheated hot air with a stainless steel 3/4 inch tube system with a regulator valve on the outside. But as you can see with the log burner in the background, the kindling has soon caught and the fire is filling up all of the box, including most of all the upper space of the fire, where you see a lot more activity with the flames. And this is caused through gasification of the wood. Because the fire heats up quicker, the hot temperature inside the furnace releases more gas from the timber that we're burning, so it makes it even more efficient. And of course, with the throat plate gone and the introduction of the stainless steel tube, what we now see is a much slower flame with more activity at the top end of the fire. Very impressed, but you'll be even more impressed when you see the next modification. The footage here is not being accelerated or slowed down. That's what you've seen there is kindling added, which managed to heat up the fire, and the first fueling with what would have been a scrap wood, mostly pine, and previously would burn away in no time at all. But in this instance we see it lasting a long time, whereas before I would come down with 4 carrier bagfuls of wood to get us through the day. We now manage to heat the whole house up with a single one of the large supermarket carrier bags, you know, the rugged ones, and one of those filled with the scrap wood, and it lasts us all evening. Since installing the log burner and collecting the wood for free throughout the year, my heating bill, because this boiler runs my hot water system and runs all my radiators in the winter time, so my gas bill now has been reduced to around £14 for 3 months. You know, this is a considerable saving, and once you make a saving like this, then you can use that money that you've saved to make another modification, which again has a knock-on effect to your budget. For example, I created my own solar panel, which I made even more efficient than the normal solar panels. This is a thermal solar panel for heating my water up during the summer months when the sun's out. But you'll find this next modification to this Franko Belge Lorraine very interesting, so stay tuned. Coming up next. We've installed a perforated tube at the back of the fire, so now we need to make sure that we're getting enough air, heated air, to the perforated plate. Take the superheated air through to the perforated plate that we have in place. What we intend to do now is to use 3/4 stainless steel threaded tube fittings which we got from eBay. They came from China and they cost me 20 quid including the postage. So we have a full bore isolation valve which we can use to regulate the flow of air through. As you can see, that's full bore, so we don't lose any of the air. And then we're having a feed pipe which will go through to the tube, and then a shorter length of pipe, which will mean we'll need to drill a hole through the cast iron back, taking care not to affect the water jacket for the heating. So this will be drilled through the side here, and again make sure that you're up above the griddle rails, the front grid rails. And all we need to do now is to drill a hole, and probably need to file it out as well, but you can see where I've marked it inside. So once you have your pilot hole through, so that's a smaller drill, then you need to make the hole progressively bigger. We've filed the hole out. That's took forever, but got the right diameter now for the pipe. And this is the stainless steel hot air supply for the tube that we have inside. And as you can see, 2 elbows and a 6-inch piece of tube and a 3-inch piece of threaded tube. Now this we've had to file a little bit of a notch out of the wall there, and I've also filed a notch out of the 90-degree bend there, so that it fits nice and snugly. I'll just tap it in. It has to fit up in that notch there. That's right. Now on this side, what I've had to do, I've got a brass union. This is from a compression joint, and I've filed the inside away so that it fits snugly over the pipe. And this will be my washer, but also to seal the thread, I'll have a little bit of fiberglass wool, and this is the stuff that's used on fires. So I'll just trim that off. There's plenty on there, and that'll be the seal. Now that goes in there, and it does fit nice and snugly in there. And then just make sure you've got this the right way around. That's job done.
A third elbow joint was added, and also an extra length of 6-inch threaded stainless steel tubing to bring the air intake into the centre, and the elbow was introduced to actually direct the airflow straight into the tube, as shown. Now what we see is the flames are getting very excited around the elbow and the nipple that we've added to introduce the air to the stainless steel tube. Looking very interesting. Fire is even more efficient now. Secondary combustion has been achieved. Gasification has been achieved. And if you look carefully, you can see some of the smoke is actually travelling down instead of up and out through the chimney. So again, the smoke and the gases are being recirculated in the firebox instead of in the chimney. These old log burners are fantastic. The Franko Belge range, including the Franko Belge Lorraine, as shown here, absolutely stunning. Yeah, it just seems a shame that these boilers have been boiler stroke log burners have been taken out simply because their efficiency is not good, and we're being sold allegedly super efficient boilers and log burners when a simple modification can produce the same results. Ironically, this gorgeous Franko Belge Lorraine fire was sold to us by a gentleman who worked for the Environment Agency, and he admitted that this log burner was wholly inefficient and would get through a ridiculous amount of logs. And the one that he changed it for was super efficient, had secondary combustion and caused gasification of the wood. So that got me to thinking, how could I introduce it to the old Franko Belge Lorraine? And a great deal of respect for all of the people that uploaded videos showing how they'd achieved secondary combustion and gasification. Without your help I wouldn't have been able to make this video or these upgrades. Thank you very much.
This fire was lit 15 minutes ago. You can still see some of the paper hasn't burned yet. 25 minutes into the fire. You can see the flames are really excited in the top of the box. Especially dancing around the end of the pipe where we're feeding the air in. Now bear in mind this has been going 20 minutes and it's cooled with the water, so not only is it heating up the firebox, it's heating up the radiators on the water tank. "30 minutes into the fire, virtually no smoke. Smoke-free Franko Belge Lorraine. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you find this useful. Be sure to watch my other videos. Happy Christmas and a Happy New Year and a warmer house.